I'd now like to introduce Greg to come up, and he's taken a wide sweep about, okay? So as he's running a lap, I will just say that Caterpillar is one of the most progressive companies that we've seen on the environmental front, and here's Greg to tell you about that. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here at the invitation of Ray and WWL. It's a partnership that we truly do value and utilize, as you'll see, globally. When the topic of sustainable development was proposed to Caterpillar, it was interesting for us because as a corporation, Caterpillar, we've been in business 90 years. We're iconic, if you will, in the construction industries market. You know, people talk about a cat when they see a crawler tractor, but we're a little bit more than crawler tractors. But within that 90-year history, Caterpillar has really focused on several areas that really drive sustainable behavior. But, you know, it was kind of expected. When you work at Caterpillar, you think about remanufacturability, you think about fuel economy, you think about emissions. And so it is part of our culture, but it never really was officially recognized, if you will, as part of the culture at Caterpillar. So we had a change, I guess, last year. You know, when you think about Caterpillar, we're a Midwestern U.S. company. We're a world leader. We are a world leader in everything that we participate in. We're number one or number two in every market that we play in. We're one of the largest two net exporters in the United States. So we create jobs in the U.S. We serve the world. We're a major, major exporter. And along the lines, we've also really had what we call four values, if you will, within Caterpillar. These are our common values as a company that kind of hold us together. And we call them ICE-T. Integrity, commitment, excellence, and teamwork. These are really common and core to Caterpillar, every employee. Just a little side note, today marks my 40th year of service to Caterpillar. I joined the company 40 years ago. Thank you. Thank you. October 7th, 1974, very different world than we're in today. But Caterpillar wasn't such a different company. It was a little smaller company. But we had those Midwestern values, those common values. And those common values have helped to drive us to the position we're in today in the world, being a leader in our industry, a respected global company with its Midwestern roots. We don't change common values very easily. Those common values have been part of Caterpillar for a long time. However, last year, our chairman, Doug Oberhelman, and our operating council, which is our four group presidents and our executive vice president, decided it was time to have a fifth value at Caterpillar. And what we came up with was sustainability. Really, it's all about sustainable progress. And it really elevated what most of us at Caterpillar, no matter which industry that we represent within Caterpillar, hold true to our heart, and that is sustainability. We have to build products, we have to run operations, we have to put processes together that can allow us to continue to grow. 90 years, that's a long time for a company, but other companies have been here a lot longer than that. We feel we've got a good start on this sustainability, but we've got a lot more to go. And Ray touched on some very interesting statistics, which we also hold very near and dear, and that is the future potential of market around the world. But we want to make sure we're doing our best to ensure that the world is able to rise to these challenges as a community, as an enterprise, or sorry, as a global community, and it's key to our enterprise. So with that in mind, you know, sustainability can mean a lot of different things, but within Caterpillar, it goes across all of our segments. Supply chain sustainability, emissions are important to us. Our warehouses, we put warehouses all around the world. I'm the global director of network operations, so I run 63 facilities in 4 continents around the world, everything from inbound material to Caterpillar to finished goods going out the back door to our customers. We have warehouses everywhere. Our stated goal is zero landfill, and we've achieved that in about 25% of our warehouses to date, and we will achieve zero landfill waste within the next 5 years at all of our facilities around the world. Just one example of sustainability and what it means to Caterpillar. We talk about sustainability in the manufacturing space, and you think about Caterpillar, big heavy iron, big machines. We tend to design our machines with 3 or 4 lives. And what does that mean? What that means is we can remanufacture our key components, our powertrain, our transmissions, our hydraulic cylinders, our engines. We're the largest remanufacturer of industrial equipment in the world. We've led the way to China, to India, and to several Asian countries to introduce laws and legislation to allow remanufacturing as an acceptable way of doing business. When they start to understand what it means to not pulling metal out, not smelting more materials, not mining more materials, but being able to get 3 and 4 lives out of material that's already been smelt and built and hammered into position, huge sustainability play. But that's part of Caterpillar's sustainability story too. Of course, then there's emissions, and there's hybrid technologies, and there's biofuels, and there's biolubricants, and there's a whole list of other things that we will play in, and people understand that. But there's more to the sustainability piece of Caterpillar than just the emissions. Kind of the point I wanted to talk about. So, I hate to read a slide to you, but we have a vision and mission. I mean, what corporation doesn't have a vision and mission, okay? We have several. A sustainability strategy is really a world in which all people's basic needs are fulfilled in an environmental, sustainable way, and a company that improves the quality of the environment and communities where we live and work. That's what we want to be. We want to be in a world that provides these needs, and we want to be a company that helps provide this and make this happen in a sustainable way. And of course, it's about enabling economic growth through infrastructure and energy development, and solutions to support communities, and more importantly, protect the planet. Like, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, several times over. It's really, really important that we leave this world better than when we entered into it. And it's really important and dear to Caterpillar to make sure that we're doing everything we can as a corporation to drive that. So, I talked about it, our values in action. We have integrity, commitment, excellence, teamwork, and now we have sustainability. First time in 40 years that I've seen us add a common value. It just doesn't happen. But really, it's taking what has been part of us as a company and giving it the press and giving it the attention that it's due. So sustainability really is embedded into our culture. Another thing, Dow Jones has, for 15 years, had a list of what they call the Sustainability Index. Caterpillar is proud to have been on that list for 13 of the 15 years. They talk about our sustainable products. They talk about our stewardship on remanufacturing. Our aggressive moves to really do everything we can to mitigate climate change. Our significant investments through our Caterpillar Foundation in several key funds and research developments to bring clean water, to protect our great rivers of the world. A lot of plays that we do on the philanthropy side, as well as all the work that we do within Caterpillar to drive sustainability as a corporation. And this is taken seriously, and it goes across all of our businesses. I had to give a plug for my company that invited me here, Wallenius Wilhelmsen, but it's up here for a reason. When we build machines primarily in the U.S. for export around the world, now we do build machines around the world, don't misunderstand me, but still we export from wherever we build to anywhere else around the world, and we do it in greater and greater numbers. We have to have partners that embrace those same core values that we have at Caterpillar. And WWL has been a key partner in this space. When we had to move this heavy equipment you see here on the picture, it's a great picture. I think this is from Galveston. And we have operations in several ports around the world. But it's important that our transportation logistics providers manage their sustainability efforts in line with Caterpillar. We are very careful about who we align with, who we partner with, and we expect people to walk the walk. That's a term we use quite a bit as well within Caterpillar, and we can say without doubt that WWL does that. One example we worked on, and Caterpillar's big in the mining business. If you've ever seen one of our mining trucks, our 793 is a huge truck. Okay, if you're driving it, you're sitting it probably about 2.5 stories high off the ground. Hauls a huge amount of material, whether it's overburden or actual ore, and these things are monstrous. You can see on the picture here, that's a dump body on the back of a standard on-highway truck. Big iron, and that's just a dump body. That's not the chassis and the powertrain. That's just the part that dumps the burden or the ore in to be processed. To move these things around the world really generates a lot of CO2 emissions, and there's no other way to look at it. And so we had to work on some very novel solutions. We actually make those dump bodies in Monterrey, Mexico. And for a long time, we build the chassis in Decatur, Illinois, which is in the central part of the U.S. For the longest time, we were trying to really mate these things up in Decatur and ship them as one unit from Decatur, Illinois, then out to Savannah, which is where they go out to Australia and a lot of different places around the world. We came to WWL and asked for some help in understanding how we can optimize this and maybe take CO2 emissions out, along with cost, along with improving visibility and several other objectives. Because let's be honest here, we're still in the business to make money. And the best way to make money is to make it sustainably. And that's really what we're trying to do. So how can we have a sustainable solution that allows us to be profitable, serve our customers, take time out, take CO2 out? Found out that, we really didn't have to do it this way. We could marry these things in transit. So what we're able to do is stop hauling those large bodies from Monterey to Laredo to Savannah, marrying them up. We actually could take them into Galveston, take the bodies out of Galveston, merge in transit with our chassis that's coming out of Savannah, and deliver to the customers in Australia or Indonesia, and really took substantial amounts of CO2 emissions out and took time out and improved visibility. It was a win all the way around. This is one illustrative, sorry, flew in from Singapore 32 hours ago, so one illustrative example of really what that partnership can do. And we are looking for these kind of solutions everywhere we go. So with that in mind, I guess I can wrap it up saying that Caterpillar is proud to be associated with WWL. We're proud to be asked to come and talk to this group, Ocean Exchange, and it is really essential for Caterpillar to remain a strong company, a US-based company, creating sustainable progress for the world. And we can't do it without partners like we have here. So with that, I will turn it over to any questions or discussion anyone may have. I would hope we have some questions. I mean, I came a long way to talk to this group, but anyone have any questions or comments or concerns? Yes, sir.
Sure. Could you explain just a little better about what you meant about marrying the two components together and how that really works?
Sure. The question, involves what do I mean by marrying the components together? When you talk about a off-highway truck like the 793 or 797 truck, the unit is basically consists of a truck body, which is the dump body that I talked about, and then the truck itself, which is the chassis, the wheels, the tires, the transmission, the engine, the cab, etc. And we don't usually ship those things as one unit because of the size and the constraints to do that. So we usually ship them apart and then assemble them at the mine site when it gets there. So what we were able to do is, in our thought, and this is where deep expertise from someone like WWL helped, our compliance people thought to be able to do this, we had to claim them and declare them from customs as one shipment going out of one port. And we got clarity from WWL that that's not really the case. Worked very close with them and found out we could ship them separately, even though they're one machine, one serial number. They're separate components. We were able to, sorry, some feedback up here. We're able to merge them in transit, if you will, or merge them at destination and deliver them to the customer. So that meant we had to haul all that heavy material less distance.
What is the biggest barrier in going to zero landfill in your warehouses?
Biggest barrier to zero landfill in our warehouses is dunnage. It's about all the material and the packaging that has to go in place. Caterpillar has a very complex supply chain, and we have an initiative that we call Paint Before Assembly. We typically paint our components before we bolt them in. So inbound into our factories are finished painted goods sourced from around the world. That generates a huge amount of dunnage, packaging, cardboard, BCI paper, things like that. So we've had to really spend a large amount of money on packaging technologies. But here's the good news side of that. When we did this packaging investment, we started looking at it, then we started thinking about our supply chain, and we started thinking about how many touches we have when we got to take something out of one container and put it in another container and package it again and move it again. And we started thinking, let's design a package so when it leaves our supplier and is painted for assembly, the next time we touch it is when the assembler takes it out of the rack line side. And we do away with cardboard, we do away with VCI paper, we do away with oil sprays and treatments wherever we can. That's led to a real revolution within Caterpillar on, excuse me, on the packaging side and a logistics side, and it's also taken out most of the dunnage. And our biggest landfill contributor was packaging material that could not be recycled. The other thing we've gone through is using returnable containers, setting up returnable networks, and tracking these containers all the way from our suppliers back to our factory and then back to our suppliers again. Great question. Next thing is water treatment, and we're working very hard on the wastewater treatment as well. Yes, sir.
Hi. Can you say a little bit more about how you manage the remanufacturing globally? Because you have manufacturing for specific parts in different places. How do you manage that whole thing?
Sure, great question. Remanufacturing business is actually a separate machine business division within Caterpillar. We've been remanufacturing since about 1968. We started with our engines, and what we did is we started a core program. And what that means is when you have an engine that's run its useful life, the dealer removes that engine, puts a new engine in, then we take that core, or that old engine, if you will, ship it back to one of our remanufacturing sites. We break it down, we strip it, we add material where we can, we repair cracks, we have a lot of different advanced material technologies allow us to put material in where required, reassemble it, and sell it back through our parts department. Now, to incent the cores, we give a credit to the customer for those cores that are returned to us. And then from that, we go ahead and send it, the credit back to the dealer or to the customer as an incentive to get these cores in. Because the lifeblood of any remanufacturing process is getting the old, used up material. So we do that through financial incentives and a huge logistics program as well to bring those old cores into our remanufacturing sites. We have remanufacturing, our headquarters in Corinth, Mississippi, but we also do it in China. We do remanufacturing in Europe. We do remanufacturing in several locations within the U.S. But the lifeblood is getting that return cycle going, getting those cores in, being able, and then the other thing is you got to hire pack rats. And what I mean by that is our remanufacturing people, they're a very interesting group. They've never seen anything they don't love. So warehousing remanufactured or to remanufacturing components is another interesting part of the business I was involved in for a couple years. I guess 3 years of my career was trying to figure out how we warehouse this, how we move it. It's dirty, it's ugly, it's messy, no one likes to touch this stuff, but it's key to what we do. And these guys have warehouses full of stuff that they don't necessarily have a technology to do today, but they feel they're going to have a technology to do within the next couple of years. We hold on to it. It does not go into landfill. That is absolutely the wrong thing for us to do. and we abide by that. So these pack rats, as I call them, are an essential part of the business. They don't throw anything away. Thank you.
Greg, thanks a lot. That was really good. I'm a fellow Midwesterner, so I understand the pack rat mentality.
Right.
But I also understand another part of that Midwestern mentality I want to ask you about. I do a lot of work with companies in sustainability, and one of the most important things is to be able to connect this idea of sustainability with founding values. So I was really interested in if you'd share a little more about what really worked the best and what was maybe some of your frustrations of adding sustainability to a 90-year-old set of values, and
Right.
then what that's allowed you to do to accelerate.
Right, great question. And really how it kind of came about was, we had been, well, let's just face it, Caterpillar bulldozers are the face of the anti-industrial movement. They're the face of a lot of things that are counter maybe sustainability and counter to the green movement, et cetera. So we are very sensitive and very aware of that, but also we know as part of Caterpillar's really core values, we are about sustainability, and we do care, and we do try to drive the right behaviors. So what was happening is it was part of our culture within Caterpillar, especially those of us that were in the logistics piece or in the product piece or in the manufacturing piece. And over my career, the 40 years, I've worked everywhere from manufacturing to advanced technologies to logistics and several things in between. And several of us got together and said, wherever we go, we worry about sustainability. And it's not just emissions. Emissions gets a lot of press. And I'll tell you today that our Tier 4 machines actually put out cleaner air than we bring into our intakes. I mean, we are taking NOx, we're running scrubbers for the environment right now because of the emissions regulations we've been faced with. I mean, we put out cleaner air than we take in, believe it or not. A diesel tractor puts out cleaner air than it breathes. That's a fact. So when we start looking at these kind of things, we said, we do care. It's part of our culture. And we went to the executive office and said, we need to really think about elevating this to culture. Well, that's to our common values. And that was huge change. We're a Midwestern company. We don't change that well. I mean, we change, but it's not something we embrace and do easily. But there was such a universal acceptance and understanding that sustainability is part of who we are and how we operate that we made the proposal. The executive committee talked about it, gave it a lot of thought. We do strategy refreshes about every 5 years. So this was one that was off the 5-year cycle. I mean, it was a major, major change. But it got such overwhelming support from the groundswell that it was easy to do. So we studied it, decided we'd come out with it, and we went public with it earlier this year. Great question. I guess that's why we don't have so many values. We only have 5. Okay, well, I guess I'm getting a hook, but I enjoy talking with all of you, and thank you, and I look forward to talking to you during the day.